So images are very powerful to help people with not a lot of training to to visualize or understand the simple things I was saying, like go out and put barriers in the road. I'm telling you, it will help. So initially, that just circulated through the internet, even before it became a PDF on my website. And I have pictures of resistance fighters looking at printed out covers of really my tweet and the images that went with the tweet. And as I developed it more as a manual, the Ukrainian government, through a website which was really made for putting out information to the resistors, took my images and my content and published it online. And now the manual, as it developed, it was then printed even in a very small format. There's kind of the title of it's the mini manual for the urban defender. Well, they printed it in a mini format and further distributed it. And I'm honored. It's gone viral because there's lots of places in the world where somebody bigger might come, but that doesn't mean that they have the advantage.
So speaking about that, Taiwan has a next door neighbor that is much larger. And from what I hear, the mini urban warfare guide was in the process of being translated into Mandarin. Can you kind of talk about how maybe Taiwan could use that as to bolster its defenses? Not to sound alarmist, but to kind of do what any country needs to do and prepare for the worst case scenario.
Yeah, I mean, number one, China's not Russia. I mean, that's one of the reasons that the manual was so successful. And I use the analogy of close the gates. What wins in war is speed. It's not just power, but it's to quickly get somewhere and overwhelm your enemy. And that's really what I think the manual helped up front. But the same thing with the Taiwan military. It's a powerful military, a very well-trained and powerful military. But one of the lessons you can learn from Ukraine is that when the civilians were asked to help, there's so many ways the civilian population, if they choose to stay, can help. So knowing about the cities in Taiwan, especially like Taipei, I mean, they do a lot of preparation.
Can you kind of explain what the next few weeks might look like in the war in Ukraine?
Yeah, absolutely. So I think the war is over. We're entering a new war. So war is defined by, two armed elements, each trying to achieve their own political objective and a strategy of will. So some famous military theorists said that, this is about imposing your will on your enemy. So if you're attacking, you're trying to impose your will. Russia started off on a mission of one thing: get inside the capital city, which is the seat of power. It is the economic engine for the country. It is everything. But again, time matters. So every day that Russia wasn't able to get into the capital, every day, and that's the reason of my manual was just I was just rushing it every day because, like, look, the enemy's giving you time. Prepare, close the gates to the city. You can't attack a city unless you own the sky. And if you do, then it's going to be really hard. So that's why some of these man pads were so popular in the news, like the Stinger and the Javelin, which is it's not a man pad, but it's a portable, very lethal tank killer. So fog of war and chance is huge in war. So one of the reasons that Russia failed was because of Russia and Ukraine's ability to capitalize on failures like not being able to logistically support itself.